Welcome back to the channel, guys. After almost a month, we're back at it with the second part of this video series. By the way, make sure to watch the first part of the video series, which you can find right here.
Hello, welcome back to the channel. I am a dog. Yeah, so we're sorry for not really having anything on this channel. However, this does not mean that there hasn't been content. There has. Remember that we have another channel, Langdawg, and I've been cooking up some crazy content there over the past month, so make sure to check that out. Alright, now let's get into the video.
So, we've already had a look at the two most spoken languages in the world, English and Chinese. So, thirdly, we see Hindi Bhasha, a language mostly spoken in India, where it is one of the country's official languages and is spoken by around 422 million people, mainly in the northern states of India such as Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Haryana, and Delhi. It is also spoken by minorities in countries such as Nepal, Bangladesh, Fiji, Mauritius, and South Africa.
India has had a long and complex history, dating back several thousand years, and here are the stages that it has taken, starting with ancient India. Ancient India. India has a rich ancient history spanning several centuries and civilizations. India's first known civilization emerged in the Indus Valley around 2600 BC and flourished until 1700 BC. The Indus Valley culture had sophisticated writing system, and archaeological finds show that they were skilled at building planned cities and more.
After the Indus Valley civilization, India was ruled by a series of kingdoms and dynasties. One of the most notable was the Mauryan Empire, which spread across much of the Indian subcontinent in the 3rd century BC. Emperor Ashoka, one of the most important rulers of the Mauryan Empire, promoted religious tolerance and is known for his edicts found throughout India and elsewhere. Medieval India. In the Middle Ages, India was ruled by a series of dynasties, including the Guptas, the Rajputs, and the Cholas. During this period, several major religions emerged in India, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. There was also the arrival of Islam in India, with the first Muslim invaders arriving in the 8th century. The Delhi Sultanate, founded in the 13th century, was one of the first important Muslim rulers of India.
Modern India. In 1948, the Portuguese explorer Vasco arrived in India and established the first European commercial link with the country. After that, the British, French, and Dutch established colonies in India. In 1857, the first War of Indian Independence took place. This was also known as the Sepoy Revolt. It was primarily against British rule, of course. However, the British managed to quell the rebellion and maintain control over India until 1947. In 1947, India achieved independence from British rule and became a democratic republic in 1950. Since then, India has experienced rapid economic growth and made progress in many fields, such as technology, medicine, and the arts. India is currently the second most populous nation in the world, and one of the major players in global politics and economy.
To conclude our research on Hindu, we can emphasize that India is a country that is growing. In recent years, India has experienced remarkable economic growth. According to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, India's GDP grew at a rate of 7.5% in 2019 and grew around 11.5% in 2021. However, it is important to note that the pandemic of COVID-19 has had a significant impact on the Indian economy in 2020, and the growth rate slowed to minus 7.7%.
Despite this, the Indian government has implemented measures to boost the economy, such as reducing taxes and increasing public spending. The services sector is the main driver of economic growth in India, with the information technology and business service sector leading the way. Agriculture and manufacturing are also major contributions to India's GDP.
We're going to continue this list with Spanish or Castilian, Español. Spanish is an official language in 21 countries, mainly in Latin America and Spain, but also in Equatorial Guinea in Africa.
These countries are Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, España, Guatemala, Equatorial Guinea, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Puerto Rico, Uruguay, and Venezuela. Furthermore, Spanish is also one of the most spoken languages in the best country of all time, the United States of America, where it is the second most used language after English and Ohioese.
The history of Latin America is rich and complex. It is marked by a series of events that have had a great impact on the region and the world in general. Some of the historical highlights include the arrival of the Spanish and Portuguese conquistadors in the 15th and 16th centuries, and the colonization of much of Latin America for several centuries.
The struggles for independence in the 19th century, led by figures such as Simón Bolívar in Venezuela, José de San Martín in Argentina and Chile, and Miguel Hidalgo in Mexico. The consolidation of independent nations and the struggles for democracy and equality in the 20th century, marked by events such as the Mexican Revolution, Cuban Revolution, and the Dirty War in Argentina, among others.
The emergence of popular and leftist movements in Latin America during the last decades of the 20th century and the first years of the 21st century, with figures such as Hugo Chávez in Venezuela, Evo Morales in Bolivia, and Lula da Silva in Brazil, among others.
In summary, the history of Latin America is complex and diverse, and has been shaped by a number of factors, including European colonization, the fight for independence, nation-building struggles for democracy and equality, and the emergence of new political and economic movements. In nations such as the Spanish language is the predominant language in this area of the globe, and nations such as Colombia, Peru, or Mexico, are currently undergoing a period of notable economic growth, which is associated with the rise of the Spanish language.
We proceed to analyze the current and historical situation of Spain, the country where I'm from, and the country that made the Spanish or Castilian language thrive. The history of Spain is long and complex, and is divided into the following periods. Roman Empire. In 218 BC, the Romans arrived in the Iberian Peninsula and established a colony. Spain became an important province of the Roman Empire and received a strong cultural influence.
Middle Ages. In 1711 AD, Muslims invaded Spain. During the Middle Ages, Spain was divided into numerous kingdoms, and the Reconquista took place. Reconquista, a process by which the Christian kingdoms recovered the territory occupied by the Muslims. 15th and 16th centuries. Spain became one of the main world powers thanks to its colonial empire, which covered much of America and the Philippines. During this period, Spain experienced a time of cultural and artistic splendor, with figures such as Cervantes, and also speaking about Miguel. Speaking about Miguel, hold up. I have Cervantes. I will let you decide if this is all in Spanish or in English. As a born, proud Ohioanese American myself. Anyway, let's continue.
17th century. Spain entered a time of decline due to the loss of its territories and the economic crisis. During this period, a strong rivalry occurred between the different regions of Spain. 18th century. Spain began a process of reforms such as the creation of the Royal Spanish Academy and the improvement of infrastructure. During this period, the War of Independence also occurred, in which Spain faced Napoleon's troops. Yeah, you, Mikey.
19th century. Spain experienced a period of political instability with numerous conflicts and civil wars. In 1898, Spain lost its last colonies, Cuba and the Philippines.
20th century. Spain lived through a time of dictatorship for almost 4 decades under the government of Francisco Franco. After his death in 1975, a process of transition to democracy began, which culminated in the approval of the 1978 Constitution. Since then, Spain has consolidated itself as a democracy and has experienced significant economic growth. So looking into the future, it is positive to bet on learning Spanish, as it will become a language of great importance. already is important, but even more.
In fifth place is the French language, la langue française. Ooh, j'ai hâte. It's estimated that around 300 million people speak French as a mother tongue or second language worldwide. It is also important to note that French is an official language in many countries and international organizations, which means that many people also learn it as a foreign language.
The main French-speaking country is France, although French is spoken by many countries in the world. Countries whose history and current geopolitical importance we're going to analyze are France and Belgium.
The history of France spans thousands of years, from prehistory to the present day. Here are some of the most significant moments.
Middle Ages. After the fall of the Roman Empire, France went through many political and social changes, including the creation of the Kingdom of the Franks in the 5th century and the 100 Years' War from 1337 to 1453. Renaissance. During this period, France experienced a cultural, artistic, and scientific flourishing, including the reign of Louis XIV, who built the Palace of Versailles and encouraged the development of French art and culture. The French Renaissance is the time of the painters, of the sculptors who were employed by the kings, especially François I. French Revolution. In 1989, France experienced a political and social revolution that forever changed the country and the world. The French Revolution led to the fall of the monarchy, the creation of the First French Republic, and the execution of King Louis XVI. So, 20th century, France was one of the main countries involved in the First and Second World Wars. After World War II, France was one of the founding countries of the European Union. Today, France is a modern and advanced nation with a prosperous economy, rich culture, and an important role in international geopolitics.
Oh shoot, it's time to talk about Belgium. The history of Belgium. It dates back to Roman times, when the region that is now Belgium was conquered by the Romans in the 1st century BC during the Middle Ages. Belgium was part of the Holy Roman Empire and was ruled by a series of feudal lords. In the 15th century, the Netherlands, which included Belgium, became part of the Habsburg dominions of Spain. During the 16th century, Belgium became the scene of a long religious struggle between Catholics and Protestants, culminating in the 80 Years' War that ended Spanish rule.
During World War I, Belgium was invaded by Germany and suffered enormous damage and loss of life. World War II, Belgium was occupied by the Germans again and experienced significant resistance from the Belgians. After World War II, Belgium became one of the founders of the European Union and has been an active member ever since. In the 1960s, Belgium underwent a process of decentralization and became a federal state composed of 3 regions: Flanders, the Dutch-speaking part, Wallonia, the French-speaking part, and Brussels, capital region.
In recent decades, Belgium has witnessed growing tension between the French-speaking and Flemish communities, which has led to greater regional autonomy and greater decentralization of power. Today, Belgium remains a democracy and an important member of the European Union.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. We really hope you enjoyed this second part of the video series, which, as a little reminder, will have a total of 4 parts. And we'll be releasing the 4th and final part at the end of February. And along with the video, we will be releasing the complete PDF lesson guide about the study we're conducting, so you can read it at any time you want. And yeah, so stay tuned for parts 3 and 4, where we'll be analyzing the Arabic, Bengali, Russian, Portuguese, and Indonesian languages. Yeah, stay tuned, subscribe to Langdawg.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Please, n'oubliez pas de liker et s'abonner à la chaîne. And tchuss.